live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's news studio. I'm Dilanjali Anand.
And I am Lakshit Singh. We start off by taking a quick look at the headlines for tonight.
A sum of $200 million for economic reforms from the World Bank. Sri Lankan Director of Asian Development Bank meets the President. Police says the security cover of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe is not withdrawn. A schoolgirl falls to death from the Lotus Tower. Another 23 days to pay tax arrears. Rains predicted in the coming few days. Landslide warnings to 4 districts. Former State Intelligence Service Director also pays compensation for the Easter Sunday attacks. Around 43,000 people killed in Gaza since the start of the war. Sanath Jayasuriya takes up the responsibility as the main coach of Sri Lanka cricket. Now for this and other stories in detail. The International Development Association of the World Bank Group has approved a $200 million financing package to support the second phase of Sri Lanka's Resilience, Stability and Economic Turnaround Development Policy Financing Program.
The agreement was signed at the Presidential Secretariat today. President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake was also present at this occasion. The agreement was signed by Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, Policy Formulation, Planning and Tourism K. Mahinda Siriwardana and World Bank Country Director for Sri Lanka, David N. Sislan. This financing is part of the World Bank's continued commitment to assist Sri Lanka in its comprehensive reform agenda. The Reset Development Policy Financing Program, which operates in tandem with the IMF's Extended Fund Facility, is aimed at addressing the root causes of the island nation's ongoing economic crisis. The 2-year program is designed to restore stability through macroeconomic adjustments while protecting the poor and vulnerable. The first phase of the program, implemented in 2023, successfully secured $500 million after meeting 7 key prior actions under 3 pillars. The World Bank Board granted approval for the financing facility, which will take effect upon the signing of the financing agreement.
The Asian Development Bank continuously extends its support to Sri Lanka's economic development. At a discussion held today at the President's office, the ADB expressed its willingness to provide financial support to develop the tourism, power and energy and small-scale entrepreneur development sectors. This discussion was held between President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake and the ADB Director for Sri Lanka, Takafumi Kadono, this morning. The ADB Director said that all the agreements that have been signed for the economic development in Sri Lanka will be continued without any change. The Asian Development Bank has also expressed its willingness to provide funds to develop the tourism sector in Sri Lanka. Under this, infrastructure facilities of the tourism sector are to be enhanced. The ADB envoy also agreed to a request made by President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake for the development of tourism industry in the north. The ADB will also grant funds to develop power and energy sectors, small-scale entrepreneur development and for the development of the financial sector. A group including the officials of the Ministry of Finance were also present at this meeting.
Former Director of the State Intelligence Service Nilantha Jayawardena today informed the Supreme Court that the compensation in the Easter Sunday attack has been completed. A document confirming the same has been presented to the court through his attorney at law. The former senior DIG and head of the State Intelligence Service Nilantha Jayawardena appeared before the Supreme Court this morning in relation to the contempt of court charges filed against him for failing to complete the payment of 75 million rupees in compensation for the Easter Sunday bomb victims as ordered by the court. Former IGP Pujit Jayasundara and former President Maithripala Sirisena have been ordered to pay compensation, and the same had been paid before, but out of the compensation amount ordered to Nilantha Jayawardena, only 10 million rupees had been paid. A case was filed against him for not paying the remainder of that, being amounting to contempt of court. The relevant case was taken up before a 7-member Supreme Court judge bench led by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya. Former Director of the State Intelligence Service Nilantha Jayawardena has informed the Supreme Court through his legal counsel that the arrears of the compensation which was ordered to be paid to the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks have been completely settled. Accordingly, documents related to the payment of the concerned amount has been produced before the court by the counsel of the respondent. Additional Solicitor General Viveka Sirivardhan, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, also informed the court that the Office for Reparations has reported confirming the payment. During the trial, respondent Nilantha Jayawardena apologized to the court for the delay in paying the relevant compensation. Later on, the case was ordered to be recalled on the 18th of November.
A 15-year-old girl died due to a fall from the Colombo Lotus Tower in the afternoon today. Investigations are on to decide whether the death is due to a fall or a suicide. The girl had fallen from the observation floor, which is the 29th floor of the Lotus Tower, to the 3rd floor. The accident occurred around 3:30 in the afternoon. The girl has been identified as Radhya Gunasekara, a student of grade 11 of an international school in Colombo.
Police media spokesman DIG Nihal Taldua says that security officers of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe have not been removed. At a press briefing held today, he said that the number of required security officers will be decided by a special committee appointed by the Ministry of Public Security. Police media spokesman DIG Nihal Taldua said that there is no removal whatsoever of security officers of the former president. He said that a team of security officers, including 50 STF officials, are still there for his security. He said that until recently, the President's Security Division provided security for both the President, or rather the present President, and the former President. He added that this set of officials has been separated since the Presidential Security Division should be maintained separately. He said that in addition, a separate security division is effective for each former president. He said that it is usually called XPSD. He further said that according to the position of the former president, it is named as XPSD 8 Division. He said that the required number of officials for this division will be decided by a committee headed by the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security. He added that the committee will decide the amount of security officials for the former president. He said that the relevant officials have already taken measures to provide security for the former president. He said that, however, the exact number of officials for this purpose will be decided in the near future. Acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya has ordered to investigate all minor complaints lodged at police stations which are not yet investigated within 2 weeks. The police request all the relevant persons for these complaints to come to the relevant police stations when they are summoned. Police media spokesman DIG Nihal Taldua said that during the past period, the Public Relief Day of the IGP was not functioned. He said that the Public Relief Day will be held again on the 11th of this month.
The Inland Revenue Department informs that the tax arrears that has not been paid so far under the self-estimate system should be paid before the 30th of this month. A special program is now underway from today to recover the tax arrears. Deputy Commissioner General of Inland Revenue Department Nalaka Disanayaka said that if anyone has not yet paid the tax arrears under the self-estimate system, the arrears should be paid before the 30th of this month. He said that the Inland Revenue officials will visit the relevant taxpayers' premises and informed them in this connection. He said that officials do not change money from the taxpayers by checks or cash at that moment. He said that they only advise the taxpayers to credit the money to the account of the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue. He said that the officials further request the taxpayers to pay their tax arrears without delay and get rid of unnecessary burdens.
The Election Commission says that all officials who have been already appointed for the duties of the upcoming general election and the officials who are scheduled to be appointed should apply for postal voting. Accordingly, officials of both state and statutory boards should apply. The Election Commission states that non-applying or rejecting the application forms due to some shortcomings are not a reason to release them from the election duties. In addition, officials of state and statutory boards who have not been appointed directly for election and other related matters are not qualified to apply for postal voting. The Election Commission informs that the relevant heads of the departments and certifying officers do not certify such application forms. Unqualified officials should not be encouraged to apply for postal voting as well. The Election Commission stresses that non-compliance with these instructions can be punished under Section 104, or rather Article 104 of the Constitution. They can be subject to a fine for a 3-year imprisonment. Candidates of the political parties and independent groups that present their nominations for the general election should submit their declarations of assets and liabilities with the nomination papers relevant to the election date. The Election Commission says that failure to submit these statements on the due date is an offence to be punished. Meanwhile, the first nomination paper for the Hambantota district was handed over this morning by the leader of the independent group, Veerasinghe Gamarachage Lasantha Kumara. Group leader of the Janaragala Sandhana, Indranand Silva, handed over their nomination list for the Polonnaruwa district today at the Pulatisi Chandra Mandapa. The Janaragala Sandhana is the first group that handed over nominations for the Polonnaruwa district. Janaragala Sandhana also handed over the nomination list today for the Kegalle district. It has been reported that 3 independent groups have placed their deposits for the Kegalle district so far. Leader of the Tamil National People's Front, Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam, handed over nominations for the first time from the Pattikalode district. Meanwhile, an independent group headed by V. Lavak Kumar also handed over the nomination papers.
The Department of Meteorology says that the intertropical convergent zone is affecting the weather of the island by now. Rains or thundershowers could occur accordingly in the coming few days. In the meantime, the National Building Research Organisation issued landslide warnings for 4 districts. Due to the wind convergence zone from northern and southern hemisphere, certain areas could get thundershowers around 100 millimeters. Thundershowers could occur in western Sabaragamuwa, northwestern provinces and Galle, Mathura, Mannar and Mullaitivu districts in the morning. The department informs the public to take steps to minimize accidents that could occur due to the temporary strong winds and lightning. A request has also been made to the fisheries and naval community to pay attention since the shores around the island is expected to be slightly rough. Director General of the Met Department, Atula Karunayanayake, said that strong winds, especially from the southwest part, is affecting the country, and due to this, a rainy condition is prevailing in the western seashore area during morning time. He added that a feature is being a heavy rainfall during a short period of time, and a risk of accidents due to lightning is also present. He also requested to take steps to minimize damage to lives and electronic equipment. He also said that public should remain inside their houses and avoid frequenting in open spaces. An increase is also predicted in nighttime rains during the coming few days. The waterway from Amathale Junction to Chandrika Kumaratunga Mawatha has been inundated due to heavy rain. Our correspondent reports that vehicular traffic has been hampered due to this condition. Areas around Kalathura are experiencing heavy rains since midnight yesterday. Certain places in the Kalathura town have been inundated. Yatalamatha Junction in Galle district is also under water due to heavy rains. A number of byroads in the Bandaragama area have been inundated due to incessant rains since last night. Our correspondent reports that vehicular traffic has completely come to a standstill due to the inundation of Vidiyagode Road, which leads from Bandaragama to Gonapola. The National Building Research Organisation has issued landslide warnings to 4 districts: Nagoda, Niyagama and Alapitiya Galle district, Valalavita and Kalathura district, Dehiyovita in Kegalle district and Pitabadara in Mathura district are included in it.
Consumers are in distress due to the businessmen getting an opportunity in deciding the prices of their products as per their wish. The non-availability of a control price for a large number of goods, including food items, has become one of the reasons. During the latter part of 2022, the price of diesel and petrol reached 430 rupees and 410 rupees respectively per litre due to the dollar reaching the rate of 400 rupees. Accordingly, the prices of all goods and services were increased in a high percentage comparatively. During the last 2 years, with the value of the dollar decreasing, the prices of many goods including services were reduced in the areas of fuel, gas, electricity and water. A problem has been created due to the prices of products and services not being reduced despite the price hike, which occurred due to the higher rate of dollar not coming down in goods and services. Consumer associations expressed their views about the mafia of businessmen exploiting the consumers. President of the National Consumers Front NPK Vaniga Singh said that consumers are yet to receive the benefits of price reductions which has to be implemented. They should get the benefit of the reduced prices of food, soap and talcum powder, apparels and school stationery.
Many people are fond of watching elephants. Spotting of a tusker is a special occasion among them. The reason being less than 5% of the elephant population of the country are found to be tuskers. Nature can be described as a unique thing which can be best remedy to heal the mind. A tusker can be seen very rarely, but those who are aware of tuskers know very well of the places they frequent. This tusker has been named Maha, and the World Tuskers Group, which collects information about tuskers in Sri Lanka, has given Maha the number T152, where T being the first letter in the word tusker. Although Madru Oya National Park is a native area of Maha, this recording has been done outside Madru Oya National Park, and that area can be described as the frequenting area of the tusker Maha. Another feature is that Maha could be seen after a gap of few years. Maha is an excellent physical condition, aging 40 years by now, and if not to face an unfortunate fate, it could be seen as a large tusker beautifying the forest for another period of 20 to 30 years.
The fisheries industry is a main source of income in the country. The fishermen around Kudapayagala area facing a lot of problems due to the damages caused by sea erosion to a fisheries harbour in the area. Kudapayagala, which comes under the divisional secretariat of Beruwala in Kaluthura district, is famous for the fisheries industry. Many families are fishermen in this area, and the traditional industry of them is being neglected by now. According to them, the main reason for this state of affairs is that their traditional fisheries harbour coming under severe sea erosion for a very long period.
And we have more news from home in brief. Police Narcotics Division at the Kattanayake Airport has taken a suspect into custody with a haul of electric cigarettes brought to the country illegally from Malaysia. According to police, these cigarettes are worth about 2 million rupees. The suspect is a resident from Periyamulla area in Negombo. 2 children who were flying kites in the Kurunduwatta area in Athalugama in Bandaragama were injured by electrification. They were electrified as their kite entangled in a high voltage power line. The boys, who are of 13 years of age, have burn injuries in their hands, legs and belly area. 74-year-old woman in the Katiwatta area in Beliata have died by entangling on a power line. A female school student was injured by a road accident occurred on the pedestrian crossing in front of a school in Vavita area in Bandaragama this morning. She was knocked by a motorcycle walking along the pedestrian crossing. Later, she was admitted to Bandaragama Hospital. A march was held recently to mark the World Heart Disease Day. The march started near the Viharam Mahadevi Park in Colombo and ended at the Independence Square. The aim of the march is to educate people on heart diseases. And that's all the news we have from home. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next.
டெங்கு நோயை இல்லாதொழிப்பது உங்கள் திறமையும் கடமையுமாகும். வாரத்தில் ஒரு முறை என்றாலும் உங்கள் சூழலை பற்றி சிந்தித்து பாருங்கள்.
சுகாதார அமைச்சின் டெங்கு ஒழிப்பு பிரிவின் தகவல்.
Now, Hamas fires a volley of rockets at Tel Aviv on the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attacks, with Israel holding memorials to mourn the victims of the deadly assault. As Israel marks 1 year since the Hamas killed and abducted hundreds of people on 7th October 2023, the war in Gaza that day triggered has not abated. Instead, the fighting has expanded to Lebanon, threatening to engulf the region in a bloody conflict. More than 42,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war. Lebanon, hundreds have been killed and more than 1.2 million displaced, according to the United Nations. Meanwhile, large explosions rocked southern Beirut as Israeli forces continue to pound the Lebanese capital, while at least 10 people were wounded in the Israeli city of Haifa following the Hezbollah rocket attack. At least 9 Palestinian children were among 17 people killed after the Israeli military ordered civilians to immediately flee northern Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp and began heavy bombardment.
French authorities stated that several people were reported dead, including a young child, when an overcrowded boat attempted to cross the channel to Britain. Another would-be asylum seeker was injured and airlifted to hospital after the dinghy issued a call for assistance on Saturday morning. A French tow vessel, the Abel Normandie, picked up 14 people on board, including the deceased, during a rescue mission. French officials said that the accident was not a shipwreck and the dead child had been found in the boat. The injured person was airlifted to hospital in northern France.
Six Pakistani soldiers and at least 8 rebels have been killed in 2 clashes in the restive northwest. The military's media wing said that Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Ali Shaukat was among the 6 soldiers killed in overnight fighting in the North Waziristan district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, along with 6 rebels. The Pakistani army said that in a separate operation it killed 2 rebels in Swat, another district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. One of them was said to have been involved in an attack on the convoy of foreign ambassadors.
At least 3 people have been killed after flash floods swamped the island's northern city of Chiang Mai. The city, a popular tourist destination, was inundated by torrential rain as the Ping River swelled to 5.3 meters. Residents were forced to wade through thigh-high brown waters and some tourists evacuated from their hotels in trucks. Some shops were forced to close while the central train station was shut after floodwaters poured inside. Train services to the city were also suspended. More than 80 people have moved into shelters as almost a dozen medical centers were closed due to the high water. And in sports news, Sanath Jayasuriya has been appointed as the regular main coach of the Sri Lanka cricket team.
Sri Lanka Cricket issued the official announcement in this regard today. Sanath Jayasuriya has been performing his duties as the temporary main coach of the Sri Lanka cricket team earlier. During that period, Sri Lankan cricket team has been able to record a high success rate in the matches played with India, England and New Zealand, and the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket has taken the decision accordingly. According to the announcement, with effect from the 1st of October till the 31st of March 2026, Sanath Jayasuriya will be at the helm of the main coach of the Sri Lankan cricket team.
And in the Women's T20 World Cup cricket tournament, the match between South Africa and England is currently in progress. The match is being played at Sharjah. Sri Lanka is expected to participate in 2 matches in the preliminary round of the tournament. Sri Lanka players practiced in Dubai today. In their first match, Sri Lanka women's team was defeated by Pakistan, and in the second match they were beaten by Australia. Accordingly, Sri Lankan women's team is to be hopeful about the coming rounds of the tournament. They should compulsorily win the match against India. India lost their first match against New Zealand, but they were able to win their second match against Pakistan women's team. The match between India and Sri Lanka will be held on the 9th of this month at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Sri Lankan women's team will be meeting India in a T20 international cricket match for the 25th time. So far, India has been able to win 19 matches, while Sri Lanka emerged victorious on 5 occasions.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Dilanjali, together with Lakshita signing off. Good night.
Good night.